Okay, what we're going to talk about now is what they call the angle bay window. We talked about the bow window being a projection window with multiple sections. An angle bay window is a projection window too, which means it projects out from the wall. And the reason why we call it an angle bay is because these are called flankers. The vents on each end are at an angle. They're not at 90 degrees. So it's very important that you label this as an angle bay. Now, an angle bay window will always have a bigger center window and two smaller, what they call flankers. And it's usually split what they call quarter, half, quarter. So out of your total length, one half of the window approximately will be picture window, and the two ends will be casement flankers that go out like this. Or in this particular window, you can opt to have a double hung in its place. Now, just to reiterate, the casement windows are the same windows as the flat casement with the fold-away hardware, the multi-point lock. The window will crank out the full 90 degrees. It still has the triple step sash and the multi-point hardware that locks this in 3 places, just like the casement window, just like the bow window. It's also available in all the glass systems that we do with Comfort: dual pane, triple pane, and quad shield. Now, just like the other projection windows, the seat and the headboard, everything is oak. This is called the oak buck. When we install this, it's installed to what they call a rough opening, so it goes right back to the studs, and Comfort installs brand new surround trim around this window. Now, this happens to be an upgraded trim here. This is what they call fluted casing with rosette corners. The normal casing would be regular oak, ranch, or colonial. So this would be an upgrade, just happen to be showing it here. And it happens to show this stained. An angle bay window is available in double glass, triple glass, and quad shield. Now, this particular glass happens to show what they call the diamond patterned internal grid. This is a specialty along with colonial grids and pencil grids, and when we get into the different grid availabilities, we'll talk more on that. Now, this particular buck, this wood buck right here, happens to come what they call raw oak, and the customer has to stain it. This one happens to be stained kind of a medium. You can paint it or you can stain it. This is how it looks with a white background against this. And another reminder, this mullion right here, okay, is about a constant 8 inches, same thing as the bow window. Now, how far this window projects out depends on how they bend that mullion. The farther they bend it, the more the window goes out. This happens to be what they call a 30-degree angle bay. The bay windows become in what they call 15-degree, 30, and 45-degree bends. 45-degree would push it out even farther, but the constant of the 8-inch mullion will always remain the same. Now, once again, I placed the inside corner cut on the window just to let you know, just like the bow window, our projection windows, this buck right here is 1.5 inches thick with insulation running right through the seat board and up here in the headboard, because these are the parts that stick out, so you really want to keep them warm. The window, this happens to show it in double pane, just like it is here, and it features our super spacer between the glass, which is basically non-conductive, that stops heat transfer there. All of the mullions right here are still injected with high-R foam, and the actual frame of the window, which is right here, is injected with foam again. Now, on the side of the window where you see these end caps that go down, you also have high-R foam that's injected in there where the window actually meets the buck. And what we'll do is we'll go on the outside of the window now. Oh, let me back up. Hanging cables, the same exact cable that's in the bow window, runs through this mullion right here, attaches in the bottom on the outside, runs through here, and the cable runs up and is into the header, and it's this part right here. That's how the window is secured so it doesn't sag, and you'll need nothing on the outside of it to hold it up. And when we go on the outside of the window, we'll show you what that means. Okay, once again, we're looking at the outside of what we call the angle bay, quarter, half, quarter. This happens to be installed with a hip roof. Now, just like on the bow window, from the top of the window to the soffit, you need about 18 inches of room in order to get a roof that's going to slope. If it's any closer than that, they're going to finish it off with vertical soffit panels. Now, it's very important that you always measure the soffit and the wall thickness, because whether you get a 15, 30, or 45 degree projection depends on how much room you have. So if you don't have room for a 30 degree, you may have to back down to a 15 degree projection to be able to finish it off with soffit. If it's roof, you can have any projection you want. And by the way, the 15, 30, and 45 degree projections do not affect the pricing. So the projection, once again, is measured from the outside wall to where the window comes in. On the outside, just like the bow window, underneath here, we pack 1.5 inches of high-R foam. That foam is tucked right into this lip right here underneath, and it's capped over. So we want to keep the exterior as warm as possible. So it's nothing but insulation over and over again. Insulate underneath it. The buck has insulation between it, insulated spacer, insulated mullions, and then of course when we put a roof or a soffit on, we pack insulation there too. Keep that window as warm as possible, because when a window projects out, you got the wind whipping at it this way and whipping around it. But that pretty much sums up the overall characteristics of an angle bay window.